Hello, ma'am. How are you? You are not audible, ma'am.
Yes. How are you?
I'm good, ma'am.
Thank you. So let me know when we get started. I'll put myself on mute till then.
We will start at when sharp 3 p.m. Okay. मुझे भी नहीं पता मैं Hello. Good evening, ma'am. Nidhi, ma'am, are you there? Yeah. Okay. I'm audible? Okay. Good evening, everyone. Myself, Hutesh Baviskar from Parole University Entrepreneurship Development Incubation Center. Uh, Today, we are gathered here for the online session on lean startup and minimum viable product. For conducting this talk, we are having Nidhi ma'am. I will give short introduction about the Nidhi ma'am. Nidhi ma'am is a Silicon Valley serial entrepreneur, public speaker. She is having the founder of a StepZ, Bollybits, then NidiBee, Self-Achiever. She has successfully built the companies in the product and service sector and sold them manually. She has an experience of 20 years in entrepreneurship journey. She is awarded with the Corporate Wellness and the Transformable Leadership in Global Summit 2021. So she is also TEDx speaker on entrepreneurship and speaks on converting a passion into the viable business and the importance of the entrepreneurship in a woman's life. So I will give I now I would look like to give the session to the Nidhi ma'am. Just give introduction about you and we can start our session.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you so much, Udesh. Thank you everyone for being here for the session today. It's a very, very valuable one because it is quite the pillar of how you test your product, how to build a product so you can test it in the market before you completely launch it. Before I deep dive into it, I would like to just say a few things about myself, about my journey, and also request each one of you, if you have good bandwidth, to keep your videos on. It's always nice to see some faces rather than just the names. And also, I want it to be an interactive session so that some questions that you may ask might also be something that's going on in somebody else's mind, and we can collectively benefit each other. So the more questions you ask me, the more I'm able to expand the session and answer some very relevant topics that something must be a challenge for you or something that you've been kind of finding as an obstacle. And we can discuss that. So please make it interactive. You can either stop me by raising a hand, or you can put your questions in the chat box. And in the last 20 minutes, I can probably take them up and discuss with you all, and we can go through a brainstorming or answering sessions. So a little bit about myself, as Hutesh mentioned. Also, is everyone comfortable with English, or should I make it a mix of English Hindi, or you want completely Hindi? Whatever y'all are comfortable with, please put it on the chat box. I'm okay with anything.
Yeah, ma'am. We will go with like a combination of both Hindi and English.
All right. Okay. So a little bit about myself. My name is Nidhi Mehta, and I am an MBA graduate. My first work experience from campus was with a company called McKinsey and Company. If you all have heard, it's the top consulting firm in the world, and I learned a lot about marketing strategy when I started to work there. In 2002, I started my first company, which was purely born out of my passion for fitness as well as wellness and dance. But looking at a prime market where I found this opportunity where people loved staying fit, but they were looking for something which was beyond gym and beyond certain cliched forms of fitness regimes, to do something new, something which was fun. And that's when I introduced the concept of Bollywood dance fitness in Silicon Valley. I sold my first company in 2005 after 3 years, and I re-established another company in Asia, in Singapore, which is franchised now. I now then I started my third company in India, which was product based. So I've done service as well as product, which was product based. I started it in 2012. I exited out of it in 2019. And then now, since then, I have been running an edtech firm, which is basically pure play training students, homemakers, and people into starting their own businesses and launching it So I do entrepreneurship boot camps for schools, for colleges, universities, individuals, private boot camps, one-on-one, all of that. But at the same time, I work in the ecosystem, entrepreneurial ecosystem globally. So in India, like I'm doing today with Parul University, but I've worked with some of the top universities as well as Atal Incubation Centers, Atal Innovation Mission Centers. I've been working with the global Branson Center of Entrepreneurship, Richard Branson Center of Entrepreneurship in the Caribbean. I work with incubators in Thailand, in Vietnam, as well as now I am working for a very special cause that's close to my heart, helping women startups from Ukraine who have taken refuge in Europe to rebuild their businesses and reestablish themselves. So that's a little bit about myself and what I do and how passionate I am about entrepreneurship, that I literally live, breathe, teach, talk entrepreneurship. And why is that? Because through my entire career span of 22 years, मैंने ये realize किया है कि अगर entrepreneurship आपके लिए work करता है, तो it can give you this sense of liberation and power which no other thing can. जो फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी आपको entrepreneur होने से मिलती है, जो क्रिएटिविटी आपको entrepreneur होने से मिलती है, जो आउट ऑफ द बॉक्स थिंकिंग आप करना शुरू कर देते हैं आफ्टर बीइंग एन entrepreneur, वो आपको कोई जॉब में नहीं मिल सकती है. That's why I really promote entrepreneurship for everyone. Now coming to हमारा आज का सेशन, which is on how do you build a good product market prototype and also lean startup. So I'll start with the first one and then I'll start to show you some presentation and we'll talk on that. What is a lean startup? See, when you start a business, right? जब आप एक business शुरू करते हैं, आपके पास जब अपने funds होते हैं, mostly companies start as bootstrap companies, कि आप अपने funds use करके एक business शुरू करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं और उसको establish करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं. आपके पास funds कम हैं, आपके पास लोग कम हैं, because you have less funds, you can't hire people, so you're working as 1, 2 or 3 people army, right? And you're trying to, your entire success or growth is dependent upon the revenue that you can generate. अब वो revenue कैसे generate होगा? It's a catch-22, right? आप गोल गोल घूमते रहते हैं, आपको पैसे चाहिए to create a team. To get the money, you need to be able to sell the product. To sell the product, you need to have money, right? So हम कैसे एक lean startup को build कर सकते हैं? जैसे हम कम लोगों में with less resources, we work more efficiently. That's the beauty of a lean startup, that with less, we do more. अगर हमारे पास सिर्फ 100 rupees हैं, तो हम उस 100 rupees को कैसे efficiently use कर सकते हैं, ताकि हम उससे 500 rupees का return on investment निकाल सकें. And this is what lean startups do. तो जब वो grow भी करते हैं, once you start to make money and you want to start hiring people, they grow in a very methodical, thoughtful and a lean manner so that they don't become people heavy. अगर आपके पास 100 लोग काम कर रहे हैं, तो आपको 100 लोगों का प्रोविडेंट फंड देना है, आपको 100 लोगों की केयर टेकिंग करनी है, उनकी सैलरी देनी है, उनकी लर्निंग एंड डेवलपमेंट करनी है, प्लस इतना काम होना चाहिए कि आप 100 लोगों को एंगेज कर सके 8 hours a day. अगर आप नहीं करेंगे तो your employees are going to be sitting on their social media accounts doing their personal stuff. That is why you need to work towards building a lean startup, which means, can I work with 100% efficiency with just 10 or 20 people and do work and deliver what companies who have 100 employees do? Is that possible? Absolutely. And that's what startups should aim themselves to do. बहुत सारे jobs होते हैं जो आप outsource कर सकते हैं. आपको उसके लिए टीम बनाने की जरूरत नहीं है. Initially, things like say human resource. If you don't have too many people, you don't need to have human resources team. But आपको human resource की जरूरत है because somebody needs to take care of the payrolls. Somebody needs to take care of some basic learning and development, induction, training. So आप outside agencies को hire कर सकते हैं who can do this work for you as a consultant. So That means you don't have an in-house team, but the same services are being delivered by trained professionals who day in and day out do this thing and are very efficient at it. And आप उनको consulting fee देते हैं, but वो आपके core employees नहीं है. Got it? Then functions like accounts. You don't need a full-time accountant till you're really doing big orders or everyday 100 orders on the internet, right? तो आपको full-time accountant के लिए क्या काम होगा अगर रोज invoicing नहीं बननी है? So what can you do? Initially, you can start with hiring a part-time accountant who comes once or twice a week, who does all your billings, your bookkeeping, charges you maybe 3,000 rupees versus a full-time accountant who charges you 15,000-20,000 rupees and does your work. उसके बाद आप एक चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट को साइन अप कर सकते हैं जो आपके टैक्स फाइलिंग, जीएसटी फाइलिंग में आपकी मदद कर सके. So that makes your work a lot easier because these are the best in the industry, but they are taking a very small fee from you because आपके जैसे उनके पास 100 और clients हैं जिनको आप सिर्फ 3 घंटे की सर्विस चाहिए in a month or in a week. तो उनको फुल टाइम आपकी जरूरत नहीं है तो वो आपसे फ्रैक्शन ऑफ द कॉस्ट चार्ज करते हैं. दिस इज एन एफिशिएंट वे ऑफ सेविंग कॉस्ट एंड बिल्डिंग टीम. तो आपका अकाउंटिंग फंक्शन, फाइनेंस फंक्शन एंड एचआर फंक्शन कैन बी कंप्लीटली आउटसोर्स्ड इनिशियली एंड यू कैन कीप योर कोर टीम to be the one which takes care of your marketing, which takes care of your sales, which actually brings the money into the company, and your core team, which is your founders and co-founders. Even as a technology officer like CTO, initially you don't need to have an in-house web development team. बहुत सारे startups मुझे आकर के कहते हैं, ma'am, I need a lot of funding. Why do you need funding? Oh, I need an IT setup done because मुझे अपनी वेबसाइट बनवानी है. तो वेबसाइट बनवाने के लिए आपको लोगों को क्यों हायर करना है? If you don't have domain knowledge of technology, तो आप उससे क्या काम निकालेंगे? आपको खुद को पता नहीं है. Instead, can you reach out to a web development company who makes websites for clients and give them your requirements, your site map, your wireframe, pay them a certain amount of money, which they charge you as a one-time contract fee, and get them to build your website. उसके बाद आप उनको एक सर्विस कॉन्ट्रैक्ट दे सकते हैं मंथली का कि all troubleshooting, all bug repair, anything that is with the website you will take care of, and you charge me 3,000 rupees a month. Because आज कोई भी आप टेक्नोलॉजी पर्सनल को हायर करने चाहेंगे, कोई अच्छा experienced person आपको 20 से 25,000 से कम नहीं मिलेगा. Can you afford that initially is the question, and do you need to have somebody full time? Because जो UX designer है वो शायद कोडर नहीं है या वो कुछ और नहीं करता है, तो you need somebody who can do everything for you and give you a ready website, जो आपकी सबसे पहले नीड होती है. With e-commerce solutions या मुझे ये चाहिए वो चाहिए ये फीचर्स, आप बात करिए, get a quotation, do it. It's still cheaper for you. So again, you don't need human resource personnel. तो आपको अपनी स्टार्टअप में लीन रखने के लिए अगर 9 पीपल की टीम बनानी है, राइट, ताकि आपको एक स्टार्टअप के बेनिफिट्स मिल सके, तो आपकी कोर टीम में किसको होना चाहिए? It should be your leadership team, which is your COO, which is your CMO, जो आपकी मार्केटिंग स्ट्रैटेजी कर रहा है कि आप स्केल कैसे करेंगे, ग्रो कैसे करेंगे, मार्केट में कैसे जाएंगे, गो टू मार्केट स्ट्रैटेजी क्या होगी. आप अपने आप को रखेंगे एज अ फाउंडर. Maybe you'll keep a chief operations officer who takes care of your supply chain, the execution, the daily work, and some people who are core to this team you will hire, like maybe a business development person, field sales person, marketing person, whatever you need, right? Maybe for digital marketing, because that's a requirement to build your brand today. Same thing. A lot of people come and say, I need to create a digital marketing team. Bhai, kyun? Why can't you hire an independent digital marketing team that gives you a certain purpose of work, and they tell you हम thrice a week आपकी post करेंगे, they run it by you, they deliver it for you, they know how to do SEO, they know how to do SMO because they have been trained to do that, they studied to do that, and they will do the best possible digital marketing solution for you. All they charge you is a consultant's fee, which is still cheaper than creating a team. Because you have to remember one thing: when you create a team, you have to have the domain knowledge to be able to have that team to perform. Because वो team भी जब आप initially किसी को hire करते हैं, they look at you to ask what is my scope of work, what are my key responsibilities, what do you want me to do. So you have to have clarity of thought in your mind कि मुझे ये काम इससे निकलवाना है, and do I have enough work for this person for 7 to 8 hours a day every single day for me to really justify my hiring of this person. So the idea is, if you really want to be efficient, if you want to keep your costs low, if you want to increase your top line, if you really want to increase your profitability so you can make money to pump back in as a capital into the company and grow it fast, then the key to that is building a lean startup. Making it process dependent rather than people dependent. You see the difference? People dependent means 100 लोग हैं जो आपका काम कर रहे हैं, उनके बिना आपका काम नहीं चलेगा. एक जन ने जॉब को छोड़ दिया तो पूरा फंक्शन बंद हो जाता है, बिकॉज अब आपको किसी नए को हायर करना है और उससे ट्रेन करना है, which takes a long time to do. It's hard to train people and to find good people. So can we shift this to becoming process dependent? Ki let's put our money in getting the right technology in place to empower our company so that the work happens irrespective of who comes and who goes, because it's process driven, not people driven. Is everyone clear with that concept of process versus people? Because this is one of the most core concepts of creating a successful startup, that you have to use technology. Just 1 second, Hitesh, just 1 second. That you have to use the technology to empower the growth and acceleration of your business. Not people, but technology. The right people with the right technology can get you in the space where you will become unstoppable. So now Hitesh has posted a question from somebody that if I'm the founder and I don't have a CEO, CTO, CFO, then how do we go for MVP? Okay, here's the answer to that. You can be a sole entrepreneurship and it is fine. If you're the founder, you can call yourself also the CEO, because you are doing all the functions of running the company. That means you can call your titles CEO and founder of whatever company, right? So I call myself CEO and founder of Self Achievers. It's okay if you don't have a CTO. It is okay if you don't have a COO. You are still small. Okay, and आप ये सारे functions जैसे हमने बात की, आप इनको outsource कर सकते हैं. But at some point in time, you will ultimately, when you grow, need teams and need specialists or leaders who are managing those teams. That's how companies grow, because then you create accountability based on divisions and functions. कि CFO पूरे accounting department को देख रहा है and he's got 20 people under him. Because हमारे पास इतना काम है कि इतनी accounts और billings होती है that we need 20 people. उन 20 people को manage करने के लिए आपको कोई चाहिए, उनसे काम निकालने के लिए कोई चाहिए, and you need somebody who's an expert in accounting and finance to manage them. So you will get a CFO, right? And he can be a co-founder or he can just be a simple hiring. Doesn't have to be always a co-founder. You can be the sole founder of a company and hire the right people to put them into leadership positions. Then how do we go for MVP? MVP has nothing to do with your team. Okay, MVP is creating a minimum viable product, and I'm going to come to that and share a presentation with you and talk about it. MVP is creating a minimum viable product. Minimum viable product क्या होता है? आप सोच रहे हैं कि मुझे, let's take an example, मुझे एक परफ्यूम लॉन्च करना है, ठीक है, that's my product. अब आपको परफ्यूम बनाने में R&D लगती है, you know, because you want to create the fragrance, the testing, all those things, कि कोई allergy नहीं हो, कुछ नहीं हो. Okay, you did that alone because you're very passionate about it. you have the scientific knowledge, all of that you've done. उसके बाद a perfume cannot be just sold as a bottle or as a perfume, right? उसके बहुत और से elements होते हैं. Packaging, where will you sell it, how will you sell it, okay, what are the I would say certifications you need to be able to sell it. So what we suggest and what the right way to do it in a structured way is कि आप एक minimum viable product बनाइए which gives people a taste or feel of the real product. तो मे बी इंस्टेड ऑफ मेकिंग 100 ml बॉटल जो आपका ओरिजिनल प्लान है फॉर लॉन्च, आप उसकी जगह 10 ml की बॉटल्स बनाएं जिसका पैकेजिंग एंड लुक वही होगा जो 100 ml का होगा, राइट? बट छोटे हैं टेस्टर्स, तो दैट मीन्स आपकी कॉस्ट कम होगी और दूसरा आपको ज्यादा बड़े बड़े बना करके बेचना नहीं है बिकॉज यू आर ट्राइंग टू स्टिल टेस्ट द मार्केट, राइट, विद दिस प्रोडक्ट. इसमें आपके और इटरेशंस होंगे और चेंजेस होंगे. So you make a small bottle sampler, you create your perfume, you give them the packaging experience as you would have it, and if you plan to sell it D2C through your own website, तो आप एक basic website with basic features बनाइए जिसमें it's easy for the person to find the perfume, place an order either like a sample or like a paid order and get it. उससे क्या होगा, एक तो आपको अपने परफ्यूम की फीडबैक मिल जाएगी कि आर पीपल लाइकिंग इट, आर पीपल एंजॉयिंग द फ्रेग्रेंस, विल दे बाय इट एट दिस प्राइस पॉइंट और नॉट. दूसरा, इट विल अलाउ पीपल टू नेविगेट थ्रू योर वेबसाइट वेयर दे नीड टू अल्टीमेटली परचेज इट. सो आप फीडबैक ले सकते हो उनसे, डिड यू लाइक द लुक एंड फील ऑफ द वेबसाइट, डिड यू वर यू एबल टू चेक आउट सीमलेसली या आपको कोई प्रॉब्लम आई, हाउ लॉन्ग डिड इट टेक फॉर यू टू चेक आउट, how did you like the colors on the website, was it easy to find the product on the website through the menu bar. All these questions will help you to think whether your website is an ideal website for the consumer to have the best user experience. तो हम minimum viable product क्यों बनाते हैं? We design a minimum viable product because we want to test our product into the market with a small focus group of say 50 people, 100 people, whatever you choose for it to do, who you think will be your potential customers. And हम उनसे ये टेस्ट करते हैं and फिर उनसे फीडबैक लेते हैं and we keep doing this till we get a 40% approval rate from our focus group. कि yes, 40% out of 100 people that you did the test on tell you I love the product, I love the packaging, I love the website, I love the look, I think it is great, I would buy this product. जब आपको 40 लोग out of 100 ये बोल देते हैं, then you know कि now I have to move to the stage of full launch. Now I will go to my developer and say अब इस website को full fledgedly सारे features के साथ बनाओ. So the idea of MVP is to keep your cost in check and to create an ideal product based on your customers' feedback. So it's a human-centric way of understanding whether your product is acceptable to the market or not. Got it? अब मैं आपको एक presentation share करूंगी to explain how do you create this prototype. Here. Here. Okay, I hope I'm visible to everyone. The presentation, yeah, wonderful. Okay, so what is this human-centric design? The human-centric design, prototype design, is basically made keeping in mind people or consumers who we feel are ultimately going to be the users of this product or service. Then आपको MVP करना है whether it is a service or a product-based business. So what exactly is a prototype? It is basically a very simple, जैसे मैंने आपको बताया, a scaled down version of the real product जो आप launch करेंगे. Okay, scaled down version क्यों? And why do we call it minimum viable product? Minimum viable means it's a scaled down version of the product ताकि ये आपको वो feeling तो दे of what the product will look like or smell like or taste like और या इसकी क्या service रहेगी, पर ये full version नहीं है. तो अगर किसी को ये पसंद आया तो they will absolutely love the full version and it gives you this boost कि now you can be ready to go and launch this product full-fledgedly and spend the money to build it. So it is basically an intelligent way of developing a product that will be acceptable to the market so that it has a higher chances of market success. ओके एक बार हम ये एमवीपी को इंट्रोड्यूस करते हैं. सपोजिंग हमने वो परफ्यूम की बॉटल को एक फोकस ग्रुप 100 लोगों का था, उनके साथ टेस्ट किया, उनको इनवाइट किया कि आप ये यूज करिए, एंड देन वी सेंड देम अ क्वेश्चनर. We invite feedback from them. The questionnaire should be such that it allows you to get a lot of information from the user about the product and their user experience in buying and using that product. तो आप उनसे questions like this पूछ सकते हैं कि where did you find the product? Was it easy to find the product? Was it easy to check out? Did you like the website? Was it easy to scroll through the website and find the product you were looking for? How was your experience buying it? How did you like the packaging of the product? Did it deliver to you within 1 or 2 days or did it take long to deliver? तो उससे आपको अपनी सप्लाई चेन का भी पता चल जाता है कि किस टाइप की डिलीवरी हो रही है, कैसा कस्टमर का एक्सपीरियंस हो रहा है. Then you can ask questions like, did you like the fragrance of the product, right? All those things. After that, after we've got the feedback, we analyze that feedback. हम उसको analyze करते हैं because we want to use that feedback to further improve the product or service. एक बार हम उस product पे वापस से काम करते हैं, again we introduce it to a sample group or a focus group, and again we invite feedback. And ये पूरा chain जो है circular loop चलता रहता है till we get 40% approval from our audience or our focus group. हम क्यों MVP को user centered design बोलते हैं? Because it means you're working with the ultimate users of that product or service. Because हम जिसके लिए बना रहे हैं उसको तो पसंद आना चाहिए, right? So that's why the product that we make or the prototype that we make must be made keeping the users in mind. Now there are different ways in which we can develop a prototype. If it's a car, okay, and initially you don't want to build the entire car because it's costly, it requires so much of manpower to build a basic prototype of a car, maybe they can start by making sketches for a prototype. Okay, this is what the car will look like. This is how the sketching, a 3D diagram or a simple sketch which tells you about what a car will look like. That's one way of creating a prototype for something that you know is a product and you have a visual imagery of it in mind and you try to recreate it on a sketch. उसके बाद आप जब वो sketch approve हो जाए आपकी team से, आपके users से, then you can give it to the next department to build a prototype which is an actual car model. Okay? Paper interface, which means supposing, excuse me, you're trying to build a marketplace, okay, like an Amazon. So you need for people, sorry, who's sketching on my presentation? So you need people to create, to explain to you what your website will look like, what the site map will be, how the marketplace will function, that there'll be a main menu. Then we can create like a flow chart which explains ki, okay, from here user will go here to look for craft-based products. From there it will go to this section, that craft-based products from Madhya Pradesh, from Orissa, from Rajasthan, different states. Or they can search by whether they're looking for metal craft products, they are looking for handloom craft, whatever it is. So different ways in which the products can be searched upon on a website. So these paper interfaces usually used when we're trying to create like a marketplace, a portal, where you need to show how exactly it will move. What will be the user journey when they come to that particular website. The third way to develop a prototype is storyboarding, which means telling the users the experience from the beginning to the end of the usage of the product. Okay, which means ki kya user experience rahega, how will they find the product, what will be the experience opening the package, using it, and finally and after use feedback. of the product. And this technique usually focuses on customer solution. कि customer को ये problem currently है. How can we help to overcome this problem through our product or service for our customer? The fourth one is role playing. That how will the users feel and react to the product when they use it for the first time? Will they like the perfume, or they think it's too strong, it's too light, they didn't like the texture, they didn't like the packaging? What is it? So you're enacting that whole role play of a customer of how they would feel. The user journey will be enacted by your team to understand how this prototype will be accepted and used. Then we have physical models where we build a low cost physical prototype. So supposing your business is to build drones, तो आपने एक stripped down version drone का create किया, which is a low cost physical, उसमें no fancy covers, colors, plastic, resin is there. It's a simple functional drone which has all the functionality. It will show you कि वो ऊपर जाता है, नीचे जाता है, ये record करता है, what all it can do, so that you can test the features of this product and show it to your customers. So it can help the team further with testing that model. And lastly, it is a user driver prototype, which means हम prototype को नहीं बनाएंगे. We will get the customers to create a custom prototype for themselves. So explaining from the example of perfume creation, that you can have different essences and different flowers laid over there, where you call your customers and you say that you can create your own concoction of a perfume or a perfumery based on these essential oils and build your own perfume. So they can spend time using different essential oils, combining their flavors, combining their smells, and finally coming up with something that they really love and enjoy. And then that can be created into a final perfume or a prototype. Because this will help us to understand a customer better. If out of 100 customers, 50 of them made a concoction which was more inclined towards the smell of rose, then we know that rose is a faster selling fragrance than other fragrances, and we should first create rose perfume as our first launch of the product. Got it? Any questions so far? No? All right. Moving. So when you have prototype designers, चाहे आप एक solo entrepreneur हैं जो अपना खुद prototype अपने आप design कर रहे हैं, the most important thing to remember here is to keep your user or end consumer in mind. कि आप किसके लिए create कर रहे हैं, वो बहुत जरूरी है. आप अपने लिए create नहीं कर रहे हैं, because what you want may not be what your customer wants, but आपको अपने customer को mind में रखना पड़ेगा. When you design a prototype, only then can you create truly innovative solutions which are ready to be absorbed in the market. Now, deciding which prototype technique to use, right? We must know what is our product all about. Okay, हमारा product exactly क्या serve करने की कोशिश कर रहा है in the market. Then make a list of what are the most important integral components of the product. Supposing perfume है, right? Simple example. उसके key components क्या हैं? उसकी fragrance या essential oil जो उसमें जाएगा, उसकी bottle का look, the ease at which you can spray the perfume, right? कि वो roll on होगा कि spray वाला होगा. ये सब चीजें key components हैं which will help you to design that prototype. उसके बाद you will think of what is the usability of the product. How can it be used, right? अगर आप एक perfume को एक simple shampoo की जैसी bottle में बना देते हो, तो वो कितना pour करेगा और कितना लगाएगा, right? A perfume has to be used sporadically, एकदम कम कम. तो आपको या तो spray bottle में देना है, या roll on में देना है, या उसको एक ऐसे essence में देना है कि आप उसको लगा करके बस rub कर सकें. Rub perfumes, right? They are like Vaseline jelly but with a fragrance. तो आपको fragrance आ जाएगी to test कि did it suit your body or not. So you have to decide the usability of the product. in your prototype. Then you must, like I said in the beginning, you must know who your customer is for whom you are designing this prototype. अगर आप मेरे लिए डिजाइन कर रहे हो परफ्यूम, तो maybe I don't like spray, I like rubbing. So you have to keep your customer in mind to understand उनको क्या पसंद है, and उसी टाइप से आप अपना प्रोटोटाइप डिजाइन करेंगे. And then choose which technique of prototype design suits well with your product or service. अगर वो कार है और उसका स्केच से काम चल सकता है, तो आप पहले स्केच को क्रिएट करें. उसके लिए आप कार बनाने लग गए तो शायद आपको 5 महीने लग जाएंगे. Maybe you want to launch the first prototype and get approval of your customers or even your team or your stakeholders by just creating a sketch and seeing do they aesthetically like the shape of the car or not. Maybe they'll say, oh my god, it's so ugly, it looks like a box, I don't like it, I don't like it. तो आप उसी समय उस स्केच को स्क्रैप करके दूसरा स्केच बना सकते हैं. Before you build the real model of the car, you need to get the design approved. उसके लिए आपको sketch prototype करना होगा. So you will realize this is a factual figure, that जब हम MVP करते हैं, prototype building, 50% of those products that we start with, right, जो हम MVP बनाते हैं, जो product prototype first time, they are abandoned. Because we get so much feedback from the customer कि नहीं इसमें ये functionality ठीक नहीं है, ये ठीक नहीं है, color ठीक नहीं है, कि it helps us to refine the process to what the customer will actually enjoy using. तो हमने जो शुरुआत की थी वो तो कहीं रह जाता है, and we've created a completely new creative version of the product. Okay, all right. Then you must ask yourself the right questions. जब आप ये product minimum viable product को create या design करना चाहते हैं, these are the questions your team needs to ask or you need to ask when you're creating that product. Who will use the product? Who's my end user? What do they look like? What is it that their pain points are जिसको मैं solve करने की कोशिश कर रही हूँ? What is it that they like? What is it that their issues are currently जिसको मैं solve करने की कोशिश कर रही हूँ? How will it be used, this product? अगर वो ड्रोन है तो वो शायद फिल्मिंग के लिए यूज होगा, वो शायद लैंडस्केपिंग की फोटोग्राफी के लिए यूज होगा, वो कोई और चीज के लिए यूज होगा, फोटोग्राफी के लिए. तो उसका यूजेबिलिटी क्या है, आपको ये जानने की जरूरत है, तभी आप क्रिएट कर सकते हैं वो प्रोडक्ट. What will it be used for? And does it solve the problem my customer is facing? Simple. Supposing your customer is a person who's looking for a drone which goes maybe 200 meters above the ground. And आज के जितने भी supposing, and again this is a hypothetical example, कि आज के जितने भी drones आपको Amazon या कोई भी वेबसाइट पे मिलते हैं वो सिर्फ 150 की हाइट पे जाते हैं. तो हमने एक ड्रोन वाली कंपनी शुरू की and we are building a drone that can go up to 250 meters above the ground level, because we are trying to solve a problem that customers have, that they don't have a drone that goes beyond 150 meters and उनको higher height की photography चाहिए. So this is the problem you're out there to solve. So does your drone solve that problem or not is the question you need to ask. Okay, when you build that prototype. So how does a sample prototype workflow flows? The first phase is your alpha phase. ये आपकी एक initial stage होती है for the development of the prototype. इसमें आप product design को create करते हैं based on the product specification. जैसे हमने पहली slide में देखा था कि first you need to make a list of the key components or key features of that particular product, ताकि उन की फीचर्स को हम अपने मिनिमम वायबल प्रोडक्ट में एब्सोल्युटली फीचर कर सके, ताकि कस्टमर को उसका रियल लाइफ एक्सपीरियंस हो. सो द प्रोडक्ट डिजाइन मस्ट मीट द प्रोडक्ट रिक्वायरमेंट स्पेसिफिकेशन, एंड इन दिस स्टेज द टीम वर्क्स एंड दे क्रिएट अ प्रोटोटाइप, जैसे वो एक फाइनल प्रोडक्ट को रिलीज करने वाले. ठीक है, सो दे क्रिएट अ good prototype which is functional and which will give the user the same functionality and experience जैसे एक real product देगा. पर उसके जो fluffs होते हैं, जैसे हमने उसको पेंट किया रेड, या उसकी पैकेजिंग ऐसी थी, या वो इतना ब्यूटीफुल था, उसमें ये था वो था, वो सब नहीं रहता, but the functionality is 100% there. So they can experience the product. उसके बाद phase 2 होता है which is your beta testing. In this stage, what you do is you test the product with your customers. आपको feedback मिलता है, which you go back and work on that feedback analysis to refine your product again. उसमें आप वो चीजों को चेंज करते हैं जो आपको फीडबैक में मिलता है कि ये चीजें मिसिंग थी, हम उनको ऐड करते हैं. कुछ फीडबैक ये मिलेगा कि ये चीज अच्छे से काम नहीं कर रही थी, तो हम उस चीज को फर्दर इंप्रूव करते हैं, उस वेबसाइट के फंक्शन को या उस ड्रोन के फीचर को. So we try to overcome all the errors that were there in the alpha stage so that we can make it better in the beta stage. Okay. Then your last stage is your pilot production. Pilot production is when this is the phase where the design of the prototype, everything has got approved, you've got the product market fit, आपको approvals मिल गए हैं अपने customers से, अपने focus group से that they love the product, 40% of your focus group or user base that you tested on approved the product, अब आप इसको एक production stage पे डाल सकते हैं. This design is then manufactured for the product exactly in the way in which you will launch the product and take it to the market. Okay. Now, what are the benefits of prototype design? हमें क्यों minimum viable product बनाना चाहिए? One, to develop any full product, right? आज आप कोई perfume बनाने जा रहे हैं, तो to develop any full product costs a lot of money in today's day and age. Okay. So we want to make sure that we are not wasting money on a product that is not approved or enjoyed by the customers. तो हम एक टेस्टर बनाते हैं to see whether the customer, so which reduces our cost. Two, it reduces our development time. Imagine if you're making a full-on product and you go into production and you start doing 1,000 pieces per day, आपका development time कितना रहता है? इसी के अगेंस्ट में अगर आप 1 या 5 पीस का सैम्पलर बनाते हैं या प्रोटोटाइप बनाते हैं, उसको टेस्ट करते हैं, आपका टाइम जो डेवलपमेंट का था, it gets reduced because now your entire workforce is spending time on only making 5 pieces versus 5,000 pieces. 3, it maximizes the usability of the product because it is now created in a way in which the user will love using it or will enjoy using it. So it increases the chances of success and higher sales when it is introduced in the market. And इसका importance क्या होता है? सबसे पहले it helps the customers to see कि ये product क्या है, इसमें क्या features हैं right at the initial stage. So I don't know how many of you may be able to relate to it. एक बहुत simple सा example है Gmail का. जब Gmail का नया version वो introduce करना चाहते हैं या कोई नए features use करना चाहते हैं या Gmeet को वो introduce करना चाह रहे थे, उन्होंने अपने existing जो Gmail के customers थे, उनके साथ ये एक prototype testing की. उन्होंने Google Meet या Google Hangouts को बोला कि आप जाके इसको use करिए. And then after you used it, they collected feedback from you. How was the voice quality? How was it in terms of usability? Was it easy to use? Did you enjoy your experience? All of that. And अगर आप देखेंगे, Google ने अपना product Google Hangout को completely phase out कर दिया because it didn't get well endorsed by its user base. तो उन्होंने उसको काफी टाइम तक रखा, काफी टाइम तक उसकी बीटा टेस्टिंग की, काफी चेंजेस किए, बट अल्टीमेटली इस कंक्लूजन पे आए कि हमने इतने रिसोर्सेज इसमें डाले हैं पर फिर भी ये कस्टमर्स को अपील नहीं कर रहा है, तो इसको फेज आउट ही कर. एंड नाउ दे हैव इंटीग्रेटेड गूगल मीट एंड गूगल चैट्स इनटू एवरीथिंग, राइट? सो इट अलाउज द बिजनेस टू बेसिकली आइडेंटिफाई व्हाटएवर इश्यूज it may have, any errors, any bugs, before the real product is rolled out into the market, ताकि you don't make any expensive mistakes. Because एक चीज आपको याद रखनी है, as a startup, any mistake you make can cost you very heavily, and we can't afford that because we don't have that kind of money or bandwidth or resources. तो हमें बहुत फूक के कदम रखना है कि हम किस टाइप से क्या प्रोडक्ट बना रहे हैं and कम resources में हम कितना अच्छा कर पा रहे हैं. So how do you make your prototype better? First, focus on the user's problems. कि जो आपका यूजर बेस है जिसको आप ये अल्टीमेटली बेचना चाहते हैं, उनका मेन पेन पॉइंट क्या है और आप उसको अपने प्रोडक्ट या सर्विस से कैसे दूर करने वाले हैं. एंड यू विल कम्युनिकेट दैट टू दोस यूजर्स एंड कस्टमर्स. उसके बाद आप प्रोटोटाइप क्रिएट करेंगे which will help you to design and see what a basic product will look like. Then you will introduce it with a small focus group of people who you think will be the ultimate users of your product or service, and then collect feedback from them, analyze that feedback, make changes into the product prototype again release it into the market, and keep doing this till you get 40% approval rate from your users. Once you've got that 40% what do you call it, 40% approval, then you can go ahead and launch this product full-fledgedly with all your marketing resources, all the money, everything into the market, and try and make it into a huge success. So that brings me to the end of my presentation about creating minimum viable product. Now, if you have any questions, if you've already created a minimum viable product and आपको कुछ challenges आए हैं, feel free to ask. अगर आप करने वाले हैं तो feel free to ask your questions. Any other questions, even though it may not be related to this topic, but as a startup you're facing as a challenge, I'm very happy to help you answer those questions. Okay? So I'll stop sharing. Any questions? Wow, no questions? Anybody?
Ma'am, there is one question from the student side. Like, what are the how we can choose the particular we can say customers, what the customer satisfaction is regarding the product?
How do
What
you
are the criteria?
Right.
What are the criteria or methods so we can like verify the customer is satisfied or not?
By creating a questionnaire. See, जब आप अपने MVP को टेस्ट करना चाहते हैं, right? We call it collecting the feedback. So once you've rolled out the product and you've got say 100 people, say everyone in the Zoom call is your customer base, right? Or your focus group, and you're going to release, supposing you're making jaggery packaged sugar, like instead of sugar substitute, you're doing jaggery packets, right? Now you want to test, do people who take sugar every day, are they open to moving to jaggery because it's an alternative health factor product against sugar. अब आप सबको samples भेजेंगे and then you'll ask this focus group कि please use this in your tea or your coffee, and then you will create a questionnaire which will ask them questions which allows you to collect that feedback. Questions can be as simple and it should be open-ended and really dig deep into their user experience. How did you like the taste of jaggery versus sugar in your tea? Somebody, and then you can have multiple level answers or an open answer where people put their own answer. Multiple level tick boxes is good because people find it very easy to do. So you can say, I liked it better than sugar. I didn't like it at all. The taste was horrible. I will still prefer, I think it was good, but I will still take sugar, or another answer. Okay? Then you can ask questions like, if you had to choose between white sugar and jaggery, which one would you choose after tasting this? Some people will be like jaggery, absolutely. Some people will say white sugar only, I don't care about health. Some people will say maybe I will do white sugar or jaggery depending on the cost, right? And somebody might say some other answers. So all these questions that we ask, helps us to understand the behavioral instinct of the consumer who's going to buy. अगर कोई आपसे ये कहता है कि I will decide whether to buy the jaggery sachet or the sugar depending on the cost, then you know that your customers are price sensitive. So you know कि अगर sugar का sachet बिकता है 5 पैसे में, my customer is price sensitive. अगर मैंने 6 पैसे किया, they will not buy it. They are not health sensitive, they are price sensitive. पर अगर मैंने 5 पैसे में ही उनको दिया, then they'll say कि चलो jaggery is a healthier way of eating sugar. कॉस्ट भी सेम है, तो शुगर की चलो जैगरी ले. करेक्ट, राइट? सो यू हैव टू क्रिएट दीज इंटेलिजेंट क्वेश्चंस दैट evokes answers from your customers, that helps you to understand कि उनके दिमाग में क्या चल रहा है when they make a purchase. क्या वो प्राइस सेंसिटिव है? क्या उनको पैकेजिंग ब्यूटीफुल चाहिए? उनको छोटा साइज चाहिए, बड़ा साइज चाहिए, ट्रैवल साइज चाहिए कि वैल्यू पैक चाहिए? You know, when you're introducing a product, did they like the color? Where did they find your product? Did they find it hard to find your product? Then there is a problem. They found it easily on Amazon or on the website. What was the experience of buying it? What was the experience of using it? उन्होंने पैकेज खोला. अब मैं आपको एक सिंपल सा एग्जांपल देती हूँ. आई डोंट नो, अगर कोई भी, जब हम आजकल तो हर एयरपोर्ट पे है, you'll find a kiosk of forest essentials, right? Very high end, all these, whatever you call it, Ayurvedic or natural herbal products, right? अब आप सपोजिंग यूज नहीं करते हैं, बिकॉज एक क्रीम 2500 रुपए की आती है. वही क्रीम आपको 250 रुपए में भी मिल जाएगी ऑन Amazon, बट अ डिफरेंट ब्रांड, नॉट फॉरेस्ट एसेंशियल. फॉरेस्ट एसेंशियल्स की यूएसपी क्या है? जब आप उनके कियोस्क में घुसते हैं, जो स्मेल आपको आती है, पहले तो वही आपको इतना इंटाइस कर देती है, तो आपको लगता है मैं कुछ तो खरीदूं यहाँ से. फिर आप उनकी पैकेजिंग देखिए, उनकी बॉटल देखिए, वो सब देख करके आपको लगता है यार 2500 कुछ ज्यादा नहीं है, चलो ले लेते हैं, right? And you pay 2500 rupees for a cream that somebody else who's not a brand is selling for 250 rupees. So that's why it's important to ask what the appeal of the prototype is. Maybe you have a user base जिनके लिए वो aesthetics, वो smell, वो look बहुत important है, तो आपको वो questions पूछने पड़ेंगे. Did you like the packaging of the prototype? Did you like the colors that we used on the packaging? Did you like the shape of the bottle? Did you like the size of the bottle? Would you like a smaller bottle, bigger bottle? Get this information from your customers to create that ideal product that they will absolutely be delighted. That's the main purpose of creating an MVP. Hope I've answered your question.
Yes, ma'am. I think student will got a answer. Yeah. Any other questions from the audience? Participate. You can turn on your mic or you can write your question in chat box.
You're welcome, Samresh. Thank you for the note. See, I'll just say this to you. I don't know exactly what the profile of each one of you is. If you're a startup entrepreneur, or you're an educator, or you're somebody who's toying with the idea of starting up their own business, the first and foremost thing about being an entrepreneur is to have a curious mind and to ask questions. Even after 22 years and 3 successful startups, I still have doubts. I still have unanswered questions, and I ask people, I ask for help. अगर आप help के लिए नहीं पूछेंगे और आप अपने shy zone में बैठे रहेंगे, तो you cannot break out of your shell and grow. I'm sorry to say, but this is the first principle of entrepreneurship, that you've got to become absolutely, like, you know, out there in the public, asking for help, asking for questions, asking for networking, asking for reference, asking for people to enroll in your idea of product or service and buy from you. सबसे important feature of an entrepreneur is that they are one of the best salespeople, because उनको अपना सिर्फ product नहीं बेचना, पहले अपना idea बेचना है, किसी co-founder को, किसी employee को, right? Because हर कोई stability चाहता है. Why will somebody come and join your company who's just a one-person army? Because you're trying to enroll them in your idea, in your vision. तो सबसे पहले आप उसको कुछ बेचते हैं, अपना आइडिया, अपना विजन, वो उसमें एनरोल होता है, आपके विजन को देखता है, आप पे बिलीव करता है, दे जॉइन योर कंपनी. उसके बाद यू ट्राई एंड सेल इट टू योर इन्वेस्टर्स द सेम विजन, एंड दैट्स व्हाई दे इन्वेस्ट इन यू. You invest, you know, communicate to your stakeholders, to your potential buyers, and you continuously sell it. So that is one thing that you have to develop as an entrepreneur, that skill set कि मैं कुछ भी कभी भी कहीं भी किसी को भी बेच सकता हूँ. My question is how we decide the brand and packaging of products according to people's demand. See, a good way to decide the packaging, the look is, if you're not the first person who's introducing a similar product in the market, right? There are already existing products in the market. Look at how they package it. Look at what different sizes they have it in. Because aapko ek cheez, ride on other people's research. Why do you want to reinvent the wheel that is already existing over there? अगर सपोजिंग हिमालय हर्बल्स है, हिमालय ने बड़ा सैशे भी निकाला, छोटा भी, एंड अल्टीमेटली आप देखते हैं कि सिर्फ एक मीडियम साइज बॉटल 150 ml की मिलती है. दैट मीन्स उन्होंने अपनी पूरी रिसर्च, मार्केट टेस्टिंग करके रियलाइज किया कि कंज्यूमर को सिर्फ 150 ml पसंद है. तो आप इमीडिएटली डिसाइड कर लेंगे कि अगर मार्केट में आउट ऑफ 10 फेस वॉश 8 of them are available only in 150 ml, that means that is something that the consumers are wanting. तो मैं अपनी पैकेजिंग को 150 ml में ही इंट्रोड्यूस करूंगी. That's one way. Two ways deciding the packaging. Packaging will be based upon what is your cost affordability, because everything costs a lot of money. Packaging, branding, getting a bottle made, you know, doing embossing, all of that. So it will be a function of your affordability in terms of what you can afford to create this, as well as creating a good aesthetic appeal. कि अच्छा लगना चाहिए, एक स्टैंडर्ड का लगना चाहिए which appeals to people, and आपके इस customer base को पसंद आना चाहिए. Do you want to do sustainable packaging? Because consumers nowadays are very conscious and aware people. तो हम brown paper packaging करना चाहते हैं, which is recyclable, which is repurposable, biodegradable. तो हम उस टाइप के मटेरियल को यूज करेंगे. कोई भी आजकल प्लास्टिक को एंडोर्स नहीं करना चाहता, तो यू नो दैट आई कांट यूज प्लास्टिक एज माय पैकेजिंग. फिर अगर आपका प्रोडक्ट ऐसा है जिसमें कांच की बोतल यूज होती है, तो यू हैव टू मेक श्योर दैट योर पैकेजिंग इज सच दैट इट हैज इनफ कुशन दैट द बोतल डजंट ब्रेक ड्यूरिंग ट्रांजिट. So these are some of the factors that you have to brainstorm and think through before you decide the packaging of the product and branding. Now, branding is a separate exercise on its own. Building a brand should start from day one. I would say day zero. The moment an idea comes into your head, you also start thinking of how you're going to brand it and how you're going to position it. Because in today's world of the internet era and digital marketing, right, everything sells by the way it looks, how people retain it, and how it is spoken about. So branding is not just packaging. Packaging is an element of branding. Branding is everything together. The name is branding. The positioning is branding. आपकी LinkedIn profile is personal branding. आपकी product packaging is product branding. आप किस टाइप से स्टोरी टेलिंग करते हैं अपनी क्रिएटिव पे, सोशल मीडिया पे, that is also branding. Brand seeding. Colors you use is branding. Logo you use is branding. Everything subtly contributes towards building a brand. Okay, hope I was able to answer your question. Ma'am, how can we improve our product and also have to improve quality and quantity of product? Like nowadays, people needs good quality and quantity in the product. Okay, here's my first thing to you. High quality is a given. आज के market में low quality will not survive, even at a low price. Everyone from a villager to an urban consumer is very conscious of the quality, and they have enough choices at the click of a fingertip that they are able to order. So you have to provide good quality to be able to survive and build a business. Simple as that. As far as quantity is concerned, you do a market research based on your direct competitors and indirect competitor to decide कि लोग किस type की quantity अपने product में देते हैं, and based on that you create your quantitative requirement. So all this is very research based. Okay. Any other questions? Otherwise we can wrap it.
Hey, is there any questions from participants? Otherwise we can conclude the session.
Thank you, Hitesh. Thank you for having everyone come together for this.
I think, ma'am, there is no questions from the participant side. Okay. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your wonderful thoughts on the session, lean startup and minimum viable products. I'm very thankful to you to took your busy schedules and conduct this session within a short period of time. Thank you so much, ma'am, from on behalf of Entrepreneurship Development Center, Parole University.
So I want to just tell everyone that I do a lot of write-ups, thought leadership on entrepreneurship. So you can follow me on LinkedIn or connect with me. So if you're thinking of an idea, it gives you food for thought continuously. And of course, I'm also a business coach. So if you are at a point where you need external help to help you build your business pitch deck or your strategy or how to teach something to students, if you're an educator, you can always connect with me. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Bye-bye.
Bye.